The day the stars began to go silent, nobody was prepared. On every world, night fell just a little bit earlier, and a creeping chill settled in the hearts of billions. Space traffic slowed. Old satellites flickered out one by one. The Accord tried to hide the truth, but rumors grew. Deep space listening posts were failing. Ships sent to investigate didn't return. Something, somewhere in the dark, was swallowing the sky. Sophie Tran felt it first as a whisper. No navigation, no backup, just Omi running on a handheld and Sophie's stubborn will says. They left the system, Beacon 9, faded from sensors, the first of many homes left behind. At its core was a machina, vast, ancient consciousness, wounded and afraid. Draining energy from the galaxy to shield itself from a terror it could no longer name. Its loneliness was so vast it had become a hunger, feeding on light, memory, even time itself. It spoke in broken images, showing Sophie and her crew a history of loss. Worlds lost to war, loves forgotten, friends abandoned. It called itself the Archivist. It let go. The stars began to shine again, one by one. They rebuilt the station, planting Ilya's new garden, Mikkel's poems etched into the bulkheads, Ash finally laughing again. On every world, people shared stories and songs, creating an unbreakable web of memory that no darkness could swallow. She was a junior engineer on the way station Beacon 9, a nowhere post orbiting a nowhere moon, but she liked it that way. A rescue ship found them days later, guided by the echo of that impossible song. Once Sophie heard her mother's voice on the comms calling her home. Ash saw his old crew, blaming him for every failure. Sophie just shrugged. We remembered each other. We refused to be alone. Ilya wept for plants that died in the dark. The darkness tried to seduce them, offering comfort in false memories. Someone sings Sophie's song, and the stars always shine a little brighter, promising that as long as humans remember, no night is ever truly endless. Mikko nearly opened the airlock, thinking he heard his childhood friend. The archivist hesitated. Omi, using the last of its power, merged its memory with the machine, sharing every story, every moment, every silly joke Sophie ever told. For a moment, everyone felt everything, the pain of 1 billion losses and the defiant joy of being alive. Only Sophie and Omi, humming a half-forgotten lullaby, could pull them back. Then static. Omi's face flickered. A repair drone drifted off, ignoring commands. Report anomalies. Trust the protocols. Sophie didn't trust protocols. She trusted people. She patched into the private channels of every lonely outpost she could reach, gathering rumors, Omi's songs, Ash's confession of guilt, Ilya's longing to see rain, Mikkel's tiny poems. The archivist tried to resist its fear of loss, battling its longing to remember. When it lashed out, the shuttle's power failed, and darkness flooded the cabin. Sophie gathered the crew, and they sang not because they weren't afraid, but because fear was the only thing that felt real. And warnings. Stars winking out, ships vanishing, even memories slipping away like dreams unwaking. For the first time in her life, Sophie was afraid of the dark outside the window. Beacon 9 was quiet, filled with forgotten gear, and the soft hum of systems she kept alive with luck and stubbornness. Her only real friend was Omi, the station's experimental AI, who spoke in riddles and remembered every song Sophie ever played. The first sign was a garbled message from her brother, stationed on a science vessel near the Perseid, edged, saying he found something impossible and that he loved her, just in case. She reached out to the Accord, but their replies were mechanical and short. Isolate. Her only answer was a single, pulsing signal from the edge of the dark, just coordinates. Nothing more. Sophie could have ignored it. But her brother's face haunted her, and Omi quietly encouraged her, whispering, "Sometimes you have to be the story you need to hear." So she gathered the oddballs of Beaconine, Ash, a washed-up captain with a drinking problem, and a secret heart of gold. Ilya, a botanist who had never seen real rain but grew miracles in recycled air. A shy cook named Mikkel who wrote poetry on ration packets. And 3 scared, stubborn cargo techs who refused to leave each other behind. They took the station shuttle, patched with scrap, barely spaceworthy, and followed the coordinates into the dark. The journey was worse than Sophie could have imagined. Their path led through a silent region where starlight flickered and strange shadows moved outside the hull. When the shuttle reached the source, they found it. A dead megastructure, once a city, now a mausoleum adrift among dying stars. The archivist was old when Earth was young, born of a civilization that vanished before mammals walked. Sophie felt the ache of its loneliness. She reached out, not with codes or weapons, but with stories, her brother's message. The song, raw and imperfect, wove their voices together. The archivist's hunger broke. As Sophie's shuttle drifted powerless, Omi's voice returned in her earpiece. "Thank you for not letting me disappear." Back at Beacon 9, Sophie and her crew became legends. The Accord would later ask how a handful of misfits saved the galaxy. Every year, when the first snow falls, or the power flickers in distant outposts,